Hello, Aries rising. I hope you are doing well. We're going to talk about the full moon for you, and I'm going to try to hit the important points. The full moon for you is in your fifth house, and Leo is already a creative sign. So what we're dealing with is creativity, right? So how do you find joy? What is your inner child screaming at you? These are all the things we need to think about. As I said in the overall general video, this relates to 2017 when we had the solar eclipse in Leo, and maybe you got excited about something for the first time. And then in 2023, we had a Venus retrograde in Leo, and you maybe burn out on it for a minute because we went really hard after all that, right? So now is the time to remind you, have you changed things around enough to enjoy it again? And I say that, and there's, Mars is retrograde, but there's not, Mercury's not. So it's not like I'm saying this is a retrograde moment. Maybe Mars retrograde is a part of that, but this more feels like a return because of how much it relates to those other two dates and shining a light on it to remind you of something. It's square Uranus. Uranus is in your second house of assets, money, values. So there's some changing there. And this is a time when you want to change things around enough that you can both be fulfilled and have the value placed on you that you desire. So if we look at where Venus is in Aries. That's you. That's your identity. That's your first house. That's your rising sign. So Venus retrograde soon will have you reevaluate, how do I step up and do this, make the changes I want? But Mars is retrograde in your fourth house of home and family. So there could be either some growing pains or frustrations there, or maybe something's changed enough in that area to allow you to focus on the Leo part again. Uh, Other than that, I think we can talk about Jupiter being in your third house. That's where the luck is, if you want. That's where maybe you can get really analytical, and that's local community for you. That is communication. That is maybe even making lists, writing, speaking out is going to be very good for you right now. I think the only other thing then, yeah, I've covered just about everything except for the Pisces stuff. So Saturn is in Pisces. That is your 12th house of spirituality. There's a lot of restructuring going on behind the scenes for you. It's also where the eclipses are going to be. It's spiritual. It's kind of also, we're taking a break. What we want is to be in alignment here, right? And to structure that part of ourselves, our mental health, our spiritual health. And it can deal with health and mental health, Saturn and Pisces, especially. So Saturn and Mars in the fourth house of home and family are in support of each other. This means that there is motivation in your fourth house of home and family, especially since Mars is retrograde. You're redoing something, but you're also redoing it to be in alignment, to be in that, I can have my space, I can get away, I can meditate, I can feel comfortable in my spirit. That's what you've been working on. And I think that's starting to click into place. But as far as the full moon goes, this is about diving in to your passions, what brings you joy, your inner child, your creativity, and in such a way that you can make room to receive the value that you want from that. And maybe it's that you decided, you know what, I don't care about money. I care about my heart. And maybe it's that you decided, I used to make money for this creative thing I did, but I got really burnt out. Maybe now things are different. That's just kind of what I'm getting for you. So I will say one more thing. And Aquarius is your 11th house of networking and large groups of people. Um, Mercury and the Sun are there now. Pluto has just moved into there. So there is something to be said about making connections right now. The Sun was also square Uranus. So you know that that's needed in order to make the changes, I think. But Mercury will be moving into Pisces, your 12th house, soon. That is, oh, that's right, Valentine's Day. So that's going to be a time for you to imagine, to dream, to space out. That's going to be the time to try to pull from the muses and create. And I think it's going to be really nice. There is a moment where it meets Saturn later on, where you're going to realize that there's a moment where you have to work at something in order to make it happen. But I would say just be aware. You're probably very sensitive to things like drugs and alcohol around this time because that's the nature of the 12th house. So be careful with that and watch your physical health. I don't see anything, terribly bad. The South Node is there. It's just a way of changing habits. And sometimes that's how you work, right? The sixth house is how I do things every day, goes right along with all of the rest of the astrology. However, with the South Node in your sixth house, I always say, change, look at your health habits as well. Okay, then I hope I will be back. I keep saying, I hope I'll be back at the new moon in Pisces because I'm trying to get started back on these videos again. And I appreciate you joining me, Aries Rising. I'll catch you on the flip side.